Video games make up to about 100 billion a year, with about 2/3 of American households that have at least one individuals who have played them at least once. Video games have been bringing Americans joy and entertainment for decades. Here is the history of the games we love so much and how they came to be. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about the history of video games. Many people think video games were made out of someone looking for entertainment, however they were invented in the labs of scientists. A great example of this was a British professor by the name of A.S. Douglas, who created a game similar to tic-tac-toe, named Noughts and Crosses. In 1958, William Higginbotham experimented and created Tennis for Two on an analog computer, which looks more like that Spotlight from Pixar to me. Finally, in 1962, a group of developers invented a game that could be played on a TV set. 10 years later the Atari was born. Bear, or the father of video games, introduced a prototype mini player, called the Brown Box. He later sold his device to a company named Magnavox, which then introduced the system to consumers as the Odyssey, officially introduced as the first at-home game console. Thanks to the Odyssey's 28 individual games, the inspiration of Atari's Pong was released. However, by the end of the next 20 years Magnavox would gain about $100 million in lawsuits for copyright infringements. In 1977, now being a notable partner of Magnavox, Atari released and made the second generation of consoles, the Atari 2600, also known as the Video Computer System, with the first console that had joysticks and came with a controller. 1 year later Space Invaders was released. The next few years, reaching into the 1980s, the video game industry developed into a crash due to a number of factors. However, by the late 80s and early 2000s, Nintendo would release Game Boy and the infamous game Tetris. In 1998 Nintendo released Game Boy Color, Nintendo DS in 2004, and Nintendo 3DS in 2011. In 2005 and 2006, Microsoft released Xbox 360, and Sony released PlayStation 3. Wii was also released in that time period. In 2012 Wii U came out to consumers, followed by the PlayStation 4, and Xbox One in 2013. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe for a free taco.
Spare change, man.